Good morning, everybody. What a move, huh? Monster stock NVIDIA, but it's across semiconductors. Anybody remember the chip shortage? Supposedly, there's still somewhat of a shortage out there, but AI craze, is it a bubble? Is this just the beginning? The questions we all have on our minds, but the question that always is at the beginning of the day, where will the day end? The prices are gapping up into resistance. It's a big gap. So, with the down move that there has been, it really does, come down to in a much more significant way where today ends. Meaning, just looking at SMHs here, and you can see that they're gapping up. You can see the cursor on the lower right chart. It's gapping up to or just above the high. It's a new closing high. And with a gap like that, if it can hold this, even say if it comes down into this gap fill and buyers step up and hold it up here, we then have the beginnings of a trading range. This, in another couple of days will become a pivot low. And that would be suggestive of, even though extended on the weekly chart, possibly building a trading range to go higher. We don't know. Is that we have a trading range here. It's gapping up to the high of the trading range. There should be sellers up there. It's just, factory work. You look to the left, there was selling there in the recent past. We assume there's going to be sellers again. We don't know how many. So we wait to see, does it gap and crap, or does it gap and hold on to this to then go? So stocks like that CSMI that came down like, a rock off a building, close to the 20 MA in support, and now it's gapping up, not up to the high. So, these stocks that have come down like this, and there are others that sometimes we refer to them as accidents when the market gets to a point where it's likely to correct. And I said this at the beginning of the week. Market corrections can be whatever they are, 3%, 5%, some 10%, whatever it is. And individual stocks get decimated 30, 40, 50%. Anyway, you can't ignore situations like this that things got out of hand and come down a lot. So we'll see. And we'll look at other semiconductors. AMD is you see it's gapping up into a big mess. So there's a lot of that also. But we'll see. We just don't know. What we do know is, depending on what we're looking at, go back to SMH, look at indices, trend is up, a little extended. Here, trend is up. It hasn't taken out major support, pulled back down to minor support. It's gapping up. What does it do? So it doesn't present us with opportunities here today with something that's gapping up like this is, right? There are other stocks that have pulled back and present opportunities. But as far as the broader markets go, it's more of a, hey, a wait and see. What is this actually going to do? The Qs correcting a bit. Tech is underperforming. This is extended, normal kind of a pullback. Nasty gap down. It got into the gap fill, came back down again, and now you see it's gapping up into resistance. What's it going to do at that resistance, those pivots up there on the hourly chart? Does it hang up there? Does it push up? Where is it going to close? Is it start forming a trading range? We know that turning points tend to be wide and whippy, but eventually they have to violate some major support, which that hasn't happened yet. We're dealing right now with wide and whippy uncertainty. Why? What's the Fed going to do? Everybody, They want the Fed to cut, to cut, to cut. Well, they're not. And Fed probably needs to raise, but they're not. So there's a floor under the market here. But as we start looking around, what does the market think about that? Well, the 10-year is starting to move back up again. So that, while tech land there, semiconductors are still on fire, there are underpinnings that are a problem. And we'll see. I got my alert up here. Does it move higher? We got a wide range bar and a consolidation, and it's moving up. The 13-week is just hanging up there. We talked about this bottoming and this move up here. And so there is some small thoughts of would they dare to do a 1/4 point increase on an election year? Well, some bad news has got to come out as far as this inflation for them to think about that. But somebody's thinking about it. This is stabilizing here. Clearly, they're not going to do anything. And so now, well, FOMC minutes, they're not going to do anything in March for sure. And well, as always, they'll just wait to see what they're going to do. Transports, some damage happening there. Look at the wide range bar. We spoke about that earlier in the week. So we've got this M-top situation. So we've got problems. It's on support. Going to come back up again. What is that going to do? We'll have to keep an eye on that, of course. Some other sectors. This looks great. I mean, could this be a peekaboo high and a reversal back down to form an M-top? I don't know yet. Right now, this has got a beautiful rounding bottom. It's consolidating. So this is a nice plus. We're looking at the Russell, which isn't joining the party here today, but that came down real hard. And it was higher, and that's pulling back a bit. So when we see transports underperforming and we see the Russell 2000 underperforming and having patterns like this, we just have to put in perspective what's happening here today and this thing about AI and chips and semiconductors and say, hey, that's all great. But there are other information out there that says, do what we do always. Look for quality patterns. Look for things where there are clearly defined trends. Look for your setups. Do your trades. And, the market is going to do whatever the market's going to do. But is it firing on all cylinders? Absolutely not. But I would love to see this, we see where this is today, this have at least a solid type of a day where it holds these areas, and we'll see if semiconductors hold these areas and so on and so forth. Mid caps look pretty darn good. This is holding up here. Nice little consolidation, correction, holding good. These interest rates, this is going to be the fly in the ointment there. And we want to see these small caps, mid caps start holding up and not collapse. Would you say the Russell is a mess? Yeah. I mean, there are other things that are a worse mess, but when you start seeing rallies like this and drops all the way back down and rallies back up again and all the way back down, that meets the definition of a mess. And as we spoke about in MT Live yesterday, when we spoke about multiple time frames, I mentioned when you see a lower time frame that is a mess, right? There are some messes worse than others. You condense the data and you go to a higher time frame. So when I condensed the weekly time frame, I have something here that leads me to a little less uncertainty, but still uncertainty. It had a big run. Right now, it's in a trading range. I'm not sure what it's going to do. So basically, stay away. Now, I can go to a monthly chart. The month isn't done yet. And what I see is a sideways trading range with a power move off of the low. And it's consolidating at resistance. That's positive. But this consolidation is not complete yet. So let's see what happens at the end of this month. Is it still hanging up here? Is this monthly bar green and up at the top, which would suggest it's going to go higher? Or is it a red bar, closing down here at 190, which is still sideways at resistance? So what we do here each morning, right, by looking at these various intermarket relationships and market internals, is to put messes and things in perspective, some short term, intermediate term. Well, it's not really a 1, 2, 3, because this two, you could look at it as, it's a power move up. So I don't like to, we can talk about textbook definitions of something, but okay, it's 2 bars, it's a power move up, it's at resistance, but a textbook 1, 2, 3 is a breakout with a void. That's what we look for. So counting a wide range bar and an inside bar, that's just one piece of information. What's to the left? Is there a void? How did it move? Right? Did it come out of a tight consolidation? We can call many things a 1, 2, 3, but that doesn't mean that they're tradable patterns until you put the rest of the information together with that. Right. Yeah, let's get back here. Spiders. It was pulling back, tagged the 20, trading range, gapping up now to the top of the trading range. Same thing. It's gapping up into resistance. There should be sellers up there. Does it hold on or does it continue higher? We'll see. This becomes major support now. It's cleared this high. Well, we'll see if it closes above that high, but this will become major support. This turned around at the end of the day as the news came out, and SPX, and just look at these numbers again. 49.85. So this come up a little bit. I think this 49.80. Things will probably come down a little bit. So, they're opening up here. There's probably going to be some sellers, and we'll see how much, but at least it's below 5,000. And that 5,000 is going to be a big support area, and there's an unfilled gap. It shouldn't even come down there today based on the gap. But if it does, as far as a credit spread goes, you've got a whole number. There's a huge open interest in put and call options there. You got the unfilled gap. So a strike below 5,000 is a good thing. Gapping up here, big gap. I think highly unlikely it's ever going to get up to there today. So I think, and this has been the case day to day. We always, which one is better? The put strike or the call strike. Well, every day, both of them expire worthless. So I think today is likely to be the same thing. Bitcoin not doing much of anything, got extended there, but some of these stocks are pulling back. I think where buyers are going to be interested in them. Maybe they got to come down a little bit more. But stocks like coin and whatever's related to that, I think just as eyeballing retracement levels, after a move like that, somewhere in here, even if it's $150, somewhere in here, we'll see if there's some kind of a turn. See, this is pulled back, and if Bitcoin drops more, which it looks like it could, these could pull back a little bit more. Gold, this is a mess. It's a mess. Condense it. It's a little bit of a tighter mess. Doing nothing. Stay away. Silver, it's a mess. Stay away. Crude oil, threatening to break out. That's a concern. You should have an alert up there. Right? Up and down, up and down. Condensed, red bar ignored. It's got to break above $80. Right? Have your alert. You don't have to watch it. If it breaks out above there, inflation flames start going off, 10 years going up. If the dollar goes up, that ain't happening right now, but set alerts. Just be aware of it. gasoline. That cleared some resistance and pulling back. So we see crude oil not doing much of anything, but you know, and this is kind of a mess too, but it's improving. It's becoming a downside shakeout. So there's those flies in the ointments of the bullish case, meaning interest rates and energy that have been improving, but they're not ready yet for prime time. So you just set alerts and we'll see what they do. Um, you know, I think just as far as other things go, I think we pretty much covered everything we need to as far as market wise. What's going on there? The short answer to all of that is a wait and see. Is it a gap, eventually a gap and go, or is it a gap and crap? And hey, there'll be probably intraday trades. Yesterday was a total mess of going nowhere, running in place until the end of the day where things start. I guess somebody leaked some of the news and prices went up, but that was one of the most go nowhere kind of boring days in a long time. So today, I think there'll be opportunities trading the equity futures, and of course, see some individual stocks. But hey, trade the plan. We'll see what happens. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, everybody trading U.S. equities was waiting on this NVIDIA report. And yeah, I didn't have a bias because things that run so much, you don't know if it's priced to perfection. And it's just that it would be an exhaustion. But since this retraced before the announcement, that's what made me say, I don't know. If it closed right at the high, I would say down. So despite it was up, look at pre-market, it was at 770, which is an all-time high. And now look, it's already down 25 bucks from there. I just throw it in the excessive gap category. And I said this could still be setting up an M top of some sort, whether it was a new high, same high, lower high, because this is a big old flagpole and M top. So tomorrow's Friday. I'll still be looking at this for a one DTE call spread. I wish it was not retracing 25 bucks though. I wish it was going sideways and then at 10 a.m. had an upside shakeout. Then we could, get a lot further away, but I'll be watching it. And, semis obviously, everything having a buying frenzy, even things that have absolutely nothing to do with it. It's a buying frenzy, retailer, grocery store, or just, GM, ridiculous things are just up on the hype of the market being up. So let's go to earnings here. We only did one earnings trade. That's a VAC. We shorted the 75 naked puts, gapping up here to 89-ish. That's nice weekly bottom, monthly bottom. I'm bidding just a dime, see if I get filled. Probably won't because it's another 3 weeks to expiration. NVIDIA took off. Yeah, no, we said yeah, I guess it was Rich. We said that, yeah, I've seen that before. That it's typically in the last 30 minutes you see the stock and the market running, and many times it's a little earnings release. But I think I was telling Rich, we were talking about, I think Rich said, oh, the full earnings thing is out. And I said, absolutely not. I said, the NVIDIA is going to move so much more than whatever it did. And now, gapping up $6, proves to you that it was just a little well, positive rumor, not the full tamale. Let's see what you have, Alex. You winnowed it down 22. Yep, yep. You need a pullback. IRM. Yep, that's a beautiful buy setup. Not buy setup, beautiful gap breakout. IRM. Yep, back. We're already in. NVIDIA. What's your bias on NVIDIA, Alex? I I have no idea what you're thinking, really. Okay. I also have this PXD, I guess, posted here. I got in this middle chart. I posted pre-market. It's kind of a big old inverse head and shoulder, left shoulder head, right shoulder, but well, you can see it actually better on the weekly chart, inverse head and shoulder. So 30-minute high. This is a breakout candidate for me too. Let's LCID, Biden's EV madness. Look at that. Oh, right. And someone getting killed even more. Look at that, $12. I'm trying to cram EV down people's throat. Told you yesterday, Colorado wants to abandon small lawnmower engines. Incredible. HST. I like this. I set an alarm at 20 spot 30, I think. That's a closing breakout. And I like that it's down a little bit. So that I like a lot. MRO, I had on my bullish watch list. Now it's questionable. Run, no pattern. APA, that's a big bottoming pattern. I have an alarm at 3180, I think. Nova, bottoming pattern, 30-minute high, maybe we'll come back. Etsy, bearish gap under a green bar. Dodge, are you around? This is a call spread candidate, 10-minute low. Moss, bottoming pattern, I like. This is 30-minute high idea. I'm going to put this in a window. TCOM. Gap's too big. That's short-term exhaustion, maybe 30-minute low call spread. SU, no pattern. Brothers. It's a gap breakout from a bottoming pattern, but look at all these overlapping bars and mess. That's a mess. Excess, a mess. Sloppy bottoming pattern. BNL, mess. Tango Sierra. And now this I liked a lot. If it was not gapping up so big. I think I said in the green room yesterday, if this opens flat or up a little bit by 5-minute high, this is a beautiful bottoming pattern. Multiple retests. It's, they've got the 20 and the 200 flattened out. You got this big old void. You got a retest on the weekly. Beautiful bottoming pattern. 5 and down, but I don't know. Let's see if it can get down to 60. Here's a gap breakout, but sloppy and excessive. NTR, it's a bottoming pattern. I have an alarm at 51. I'm just going to ignore it unless the alarm goes off. This was a closing breakout the last 2 days, actually. So that's bullish, daily, weekly, monthly. That looks great. I'm going to put that in a window. Tab. Synops 578, gap's too big. That's a monster gap. Really, $21. Bullish. I would like it better, obviously, if we're gapping right above this last week's high. Gap's too big now. Cenex, put spread, 10-minute low if there's any juice at $10. Olo 668, gap breakout, but too big. Sunny, 22.29. That's the one Alex just mentioned. Yep, I need a pullback though for me. This gapping down, nothing. 16. This thing sold off into earnings. So that something's wrong with that company. Long, I see a print at 15. If it is opening at 15, this could be a 30-minute high. Kilo whiskey, possible bottoming pattern. 338. Here's a put spread idea. Dog, you in the house? Little downside shakeout, gapping over these bars. I like that. I need more windows. AMSS, I like. AGR bottoming pattern, but up a bunch. Jack flat, no pattern. There's our back. Churd 164, gapping under green bar, call spread candidate. NTR alarm just went off at 51. There's my 51. There you go. Look. So NTR I'm liking. Maybe 30-minute high. Quattro, no prints. Bottoming pattern, but gapping down. So bottoming pattern fail. $3 stock, no interest. I see one print at 350 though. 30-minute high maybe, but I got enough to watch. My fast alarm just went off. There's a gap break. That looks fantastic. Let's see how that holds up in the first 30 minutes. This Pan W from yesterday got whacked on earnings. I saw it up in bullish price action. This is a 1 DTE put spread idea, maybe 15-minute high. These are morning ideas, PXD. Let me set an alarm, 234. I already got one, good. This was up, now down, no interest. LNG call spread idea, gapping under a big green bar. NAM, I saw it up, so I had it on a bottoming pattern watch, but now I'm deleting it. Myrna, little double bottom here, 91. 15-minute high, put spread. Power, gap's too big, but bullish, watching on a pullback. Ballard, pullback. IRM, that's the one Alex just said. Yep, I like that. Got it in the bottom right. Cool, 370 call spread idea, but I looked yesterday. He's very, very spreading. Nice 238, gaps too big. Pod 196. Put spread idea. LKQ, I don't see any gaps. All right. And finally, TFX is down. This is a call spread idea. Oh, look at that. Right as the opening bell goes off. Listen to all my alarms. All right, HST alarm. That's a hotel. That's a closing breakout. That looks great. Let me put that in this middle window. Maybe 5, 10, 15-minute high. Bunch of alarms here. Quattro, no pattern. Expedia, we have a call spread, but we have stop break even. DAKT, that stopped yesterday. JP Morgan, up alarm. We entered long calls yesterday. Yeah, no, Qs. Yeah, Qs are, yeah, absolutely a monster gap. That's why I'm into, selling strength and these call spreads. This is not a normal M top unless it chops around for a couple days here and fails. but C alarm, Citigroup was a 1, 2, 3, not doing anything. Schwab alarm, I've been watching that, nothing to do. H hotel, shoot, gap's too big. Shoot. That was a nice little buy setup I gave. All right, fast. I like on a pullback. Moss. Gap's too big. Shoot. It's a Roku dog. What a friggin' piece of garbage you are. And I had that on my core long list over here, and that just fell apart with earnings. All right, I'm not filled on VAC. Let me see what the spreads are like. They're not even open yet. Our VAC puts are still showing yesterday's prices. EL it's on my list too. I'll reset the alarm 148. I posted Gulf Delta. I love the fact that it's down. Yeah, I'm not doing any longs here at all unless they're totally on their own page. Look at that HST coming in. EL 148 alarm.